Hello everybody, welcome back. Today, as we are closing out the year, I thought that we would take a look at the IRS's list for 2023 of the top 12 tax scams and frivolous arguments that they have seen this year. So let's take a look. We're going to start with the ones that are most common, the ones that we run into the most. And this year, by far, the number one fraudulent thing that was going on around the IRS was this employee retention credit claim thing. I don't know about you. I was getting several calls a day for months and months from companies trying to convince me that I too could claim the employee retention credit and get thousands upon thousands of dollars back per employee. There were businesses that legitimately qualified and legitimately got refunds back that helped them stay afloat during the pandemic and to recover after the pandemic. But these promoters were making big promises to businesses that did not qualify and trying to even get people who didn't even have businesses to claim this credit. The IRS is on top of this. Anybody filing late is being delayed right now for more scrutiny. If you received a credit and you don't think you really should have, now's the time to pay it back before the IRS catches it. That was the number one thing all year long. Number two was pretty common, phishing. This is every year. This has been hitting the list for ages. When you're getting texts or emails that appear to be from the IRS but are not from the IRS, the IRS will not reach out to you via text especially, but also not via email. If they are conversing with you about a change to your account or money that you owe, it's going to be by postal mail, and it will escalate to a phone call at some point. But really, truly, if you get a phone call and they say they're from the IRS, get their badge number, call back 1-800-829-1040, make sure that they're legit. Before you give them any money, they're certainly not going to ask you to pay them by gift cards, so be aware. Online account help from third-party scammers. If you are not up to date on what scammers are doing out there, there are a lot of situations where they are pretending to be a particular company or pretending to be support. Be careful. If you would like a resource, look up Kit Boga on YouTube. He's entertaining, but also sheds a lot of light on these types of scams. So KITBOGA. I'll put a link below. Fake charities also made the list again this year. Make sure that if you are donating to charity, that it is a legitimate charity. The IRS does have a lookup on their website. The state also has a lookup that you can check their nonprofit status. So definitely just know who you're giving money to for sure. The next set, unscrupulous tax return preparers. Obviously, we don't have any of those in our office, and if you're working with us, you're safe from this one. But we've certainly seen the ripple effects. Some of these tax return preparers, one of the warning signs is that they may not sign the tax return. We're required to sign the returns that we prepare and to provide our ID number. So a lot of these preparers don't sign them. They also often add additional deductions to the returns to inflate the refund and then either charge a percentage of the refund or sometimes redirect the entire refund to their own account. It's really sad. Watch social media for misleading or incorrect information. There is a lot of information out on social media, and the problem with some of these platforms is that they only give you a short period of time to relay information. And so even if they started with a kernel of truth, it's being presented in a way often that is not beneficial to you when you are trying to do your tax planning. So if you see something that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Do more research or ask your friendly neighborhood tax pro if this might apply to you and if it might be helpful. Similarly, offers and compromise mills, if you get calls saying, we know that you have tax debt, we can help you settle for pennies on the dollar. These have been around for years and years and years. The IRS does have a mechanism for settling tax debt for pennies on the dollar. That does exist. You can do it for free yourself. Most important to note is that the IRS does have a tool on their website that you can go in and you can put in some information about what your tax debt looks like and what your assets are, what your income looks like, and it will calculate for you, yes, you may be a candidate for this, or no, you're not a candidate for this. That should be the first step if you're even considering trying to do that with the IRS. So please be careful who you give your information to. I've seen over and over again people desperate to get out of tax debt, paying a firm a small fortune to theoretically get them one of these offers and compromise, and then nothing happens. The next one on the list is targeted to us tax professionals. We are under attack, under cyber attack. We have a lot of sensitive information, obviously, in our systems, and it is very important to us to keep it secure, which is why I know sometimes it's frustrating to try to get documents to us securely, but it's really, really important. This is why scammers know that we have data and they are after our systems, so we do everything we can to keep your data safe. There were a few that were less common, so I threw them in because, well, I said I'd include the dirty dozen. But these hopefully are things that you aren't going to run into so much, but may be helpful for you to just be aware of. One is false fuel tax credit claims. So there is a fuel tax credit. It's designed for farmers that are buying gas, not for highway use, but for their tractors and the things out in the fields. And so they get a credit for the fuel tax, because the fuel tax is to benefit the highway system. That credit is not for your everyday on the highway vehicle. So there are some scams out there, people trying to claim that credit. For high earners, there are some strategies around charitable remainder trusts and monetized installment sales that aren't necessarily legit. There's some other bogus tax avoidance strategies out there. Again, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Do more research. And then some international schemes as well. So misuse of treaties. The biggest one that I saw in that was relevant is the argument that my offshore account or my digital assets are anonymous and the IRS will never know about it. The IRS assures you that yes, they will find out about it, and that those things do need to be reported appropriately. So that's the rundown on the IRS's 2023 Dirty Dozen Scam List. Hopefully something in here was interesting or enlightening for you. Let me know if you have any questions. What should we talk about next week? And most of all, I want to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.